All right, let's dive into a real powerhouse in the Java testing world, TestNG. We're going to break down how this tool can take your testing from just a bunch of simple checks to a super efficient automated machine. Let's get into it. So, does this sound familiar to you? You've written dozens, maybe even hundreds of automated tests, but now running them all takes forever. Trying to figure out which ones to run for a quick sanity check is a total nightmare. And when one little thing fails, the whole process just grinds to a halt. Yeah, that's a pretty common headache, but it really doesn't have to be that way. And this is where TestNG comes in. The NG actually stands for next generation, because it was built from the ground up to handle way more than older frameworks could. Think of it like a central command center for your entire testing operation, one that brings some much-needed order and speed to all that chaos. So, what's the secret sauce here? How does TestNG actually work its magic? Well, it all starts with a simple but incredibly powerful concept: annotations. These are basically the fundamental building blocks of any TestNG test, and they tell your code exactly what to do and when to do it. The best way to think about annotations is like stage directions for your code. Instead of you having to manually call all your setup and cleanup functions, you just label them with an annotation. TestNG then steps in and acts like the director, making sure everything runs in the perfect order every single time. And there's a really clear hierarchy to how TestNG manages this whole lifecycle. It all starts with @before suite, which runs only one time for the entire run. Then, for each class of tests, @before class kicks in. And inside that class, @before method runs before every single @test method. After the test, @after method cleans up. It's this logical top-down setup and bottom-up cleanup that gives you just incredibly precise control. Okay, so annotations are great for individual tests, but the real power of TestNG gets unlocked when you start organizing hundreds of tests into logical groups or suites. This is where you go from just playing a single instrument to conducting a whole orchestra. And every orchestra needs a musical score, right? In TestNG, that score is a simple file called TestNG.xml. This file is your command center. It tells TestNG what to test, how to test it, and in what order. And the best part? You can do all of this without ever changing a single line of your Java code. That separation of configuration from code, that's the key. So if you look at the structure, it's pretty straightforward. At the top, you define a suite. Inside that, you can have one or more tests, and then inside those, you list the specific test classes you want to run. You can even pass in data like a URL or a username straight from this file, which helps keep your test code super clean and reusable. Now, this XML file also unlocks some seriously powerful control features. You can put tests into groups, like a sanity group for a quick check or a regression group for the full-on everything run. You can set dependencies, which is huge. It lets you say, hey, don't even try to run the profile test until the login test passes. And of course, you can set priorities to make sure tests run in a specific order. All right, we've got our tests organized. Now let's make them massively more efficient. We're about to get into the features that let you test way more scenarios in way less time. We've all hit this wall, right? You've got one test for your login page, but you need to make sure it works with dozens of different usernames and passwords. You're not going to copy and paste that test 100 times, are you? No way. With TestNG, you absolutely don't have to. TestNG gives you two great tools for this. For really simple static values, you can use @parameters to just pull data right out of your TestNG.xml file. But the real powerhouse here is @DataProvider. This annotation lets you write a Java method that acts like a little data factory, feeding all sorts of complex data, like usernames, passwords, and what you expect to happen, into a single test. That one test then runs over and over, once for each set of data. And here it is, the biggest time saver of them all: parallel execution. Look at that parallel, equals methods attribute in the XML. With just that one line, plus a thread count, you tell TestNG to run your tests at the same time, across multiple threads. This can literally slash your execution time from hours down to minutes. It is an absolute game changer. Okay, so our tests are organized, they're data-driven, and they're running in parallel. What's next? Well, now we make them smarter by improving how we check the results and how we handle failures. In testing, an assert is just a fancy word for a check to see if something is true. By default, TestNG uses what's called a hard assert. The second one fails, the test stops, period. And that's great for critical show-stopping bugs. But what if you want to check, say, 10 different things on one web page? For that, you use a SoftAssert. It runs through all of your checks, notes any failures, and then reports everything that went wrong at the very end. It gives you a much more complete picture. So this code here shows a classic hard assert. See the assert.true and assert.equals to? If that first check for the title fails, the test is immediately marked as failed, and it stops right there. That second assert.equals to line is never even reached. And you can take this even further with some more advanced tools. Listeners, for example, are little bits of code that listen for things to happen. You could write one that automatically takes a screenshot the instant a test fails, super useful for debugging. And a retry analyzer can automatically rerun a test that failed, which is perfect for dealing with those annoying temporary network glitches or other flaky issues. And you might think this stuff is super complicated, but check this out. The implementation is surprisingly simple. You just create a small class that keeps track of how many times you've retried. When a test fails, TestNG just asks this class, hey, should I try again? If your code says yes, the test gets another shot. It's a really elegant way to handle those random, unstable tests. Finally, let's zoom out and put this all together. Let's see how TestNG fits into the bigger picture of software development and continuous integration. And this is a really crucial point. TestNG doesn't live on an island. It's the engine that drives your Selenium browser tests, giving them all the structure, control, and reporting they need. And it plugs directly into CI/CD tools like Jenkins, so you can automatically run your test suites every single time a developer checks in new code. And here's a bird's eye view of what a typical project looks like. Your Java test code lives under src/test/java, and that super important testng.xml file, it usually sits in the resources folder. It's a clean, standard layout that tools like Maven and Gradle just understand right out of the box. So, why does all of this matter? Because TestNG gives you a really clear path to follow. You can start simple right now just by using the basic @test annotation. Then, as your project gets bigger, you can bring in the testng.xml file to organize your suites. And eventually, you can master the really advanced stuff like the retry analyzer and custom listeners to build a truly bulletproof testing framework. So if there's one thing to take away, it's this. TestNG provides a roadmap. It gives you the tools to control how your tests run, to feed them data, to run them in parallel, and to handle failures in a really intelligent way. You're not just writing tests anymore. You're engineering a robust and efficient quality process. We've covered a ton of ground, from simple annotations to complex parallel suites. The framework is all there, and the tools are ready for you. The only question left is, how are you going to use them to make your tests powerful?